Hello, everyone. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for joining me tonight on this fifth Tuesday of the month, which means it's special session time. So, I don't know if people were realizing the beginning of the month, 1st of January, the guides brought up sharpen your awareness. They said it multiple times. I was getting visions of pencils in my head, and I knew they were going to expand on it a little bit. So, a couple weeks ago, I woke up in the middle of the night, and I get a lot of downloads in the middle of the night, and I have to just get up and start writing. And I just kept getting 5 ways, 5 ways, 5 ways. And I'm 5 ways. I'm like, 5 steps? No, 5 ways. Okay. 5 ways, 5 ways to what? And then I kept getting that pencil. So I realized they were trying to say, okay, there's going to be 5 ways to sharpen your awareness. And over the next couple days, I just kept getting these ideas and I was seeing things as far as like experiences in my own little world. And I was being nudged to each and every one of these things. So when I got up and wrote that night, they gave me six actually, and then they've taken one off. So anyway, it's kind of interesting how all of this unfolds, and it's been really, really fun. So anyway, we are going to cover the 5 ways to sharpen your awareness. And if you feel like you want to take notes, feel free. It may be necessary, it may not be. Whether you're watching this live right now or whether you're watching the replay, you can always just go back and watch it again and, take notes then too. So anyway, they did want me to say, first off, these are ways. They're not necessarily steps. So what that means is one doesn't necessarily, you don't have to accomplish one to start the next. You just have to pick the one that definitely resonates with you and works well in your life. And then if you want to start to implement another one, that's fine too. But be easy on yourself. This is all going to take practice and time and focus, and just have fun with all of it. But the first thing that how I said there were experiences in my life that were kind of pointing me in the right direction. I saw a TikTok video and it was called the red car theory. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of that, but it was this woman and she was sitting down with a guy and she said, "How many red cars have you seen today?" And he just kind of looks at her and says, "I have no idea how many red cars I've seen today." And she said, "Well, what if I told you I would pay you tomorrow $50 for every red car you would see? Do you think you'd see some red cars?" And he said, "Yeah, of course. I would be well aware of every red car I see and I would keep track." And she said, "Well, what if I were to tell you that just like those passing red cars that you don't even notice, those are opportunities in your life that you could be missing?" And so this intrigued me. I was listening. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. Let's see where this goes. And it was just kind of the end of the video. And I thought, well, that's kind of weird. So I decided to scroll down and see what everybody was saying. And everybody kept saying, how? How? How can we become more aware? How can we? That's an easy analogy and everybody understands that. But how do we become more aware? And that again just showed me, okay, we need to know how. And so what happened was when I do these types of trainings, what I normally do is like they gave me the 5 steps. So I sat down for 5 individual sessions with the phrases, with the words, with the steps. And I did automatic writing and they gave me everything that they wanted to say. So what I'm going to do is we'll go through each step. I will read you what they said, and then we can discuss it afterward. But just for reference, as we're going through, because I didn't want to say this every single time, we chose one saying for the whole entire night. It's going to be the reference of your inner being. And what they mean by your inner being is, and you can use any word that you want in your mind, your higher self, source energy, spirit, the divine, God, the universe, infinite intelligence, whatever is comfortable for you. But whenever you hear inner being, that is what they are referring to. So let's just start there. And again, these 5 ways are not necessarily steps. They are ways. Take what resonates with you and just leave the rest behind and maybe come back to it at another time where it fits your life a little bit better. And don't overwhelm yourself. So let's go ahead and jump in. So the first one was trust, or is trust. So I'm going to read this to you of what they wanted me to talk about with trust. We are so happy to have this time with you. Yes, we've been speaking a lot about sharpening your awareness. We understand until there is more of an action plan, these are simply words. We are happy to share ideas with you on how to live your life with a stronger sense of awareness. Please know as we get started that all of these things take practice and none of this will happen overnight. And also know that there is never any judgment on our side. There is no one standing here tapping a foot and staring at a watch, waiting for you to accomplish anything. But the mere fact that you not only heard this invitation, but you've set time aside and taken time to learn, that just means you're ready. You are ready for more. You inherently know that you are meant for more, and you could not be more correct. This is your time. As we begin to discuss sharpening your awareness, we must first start with we must first start with trust. All of the other steps can be taken in any given order, but the top priority for step number 1 must be trust. Without it, nothing else matters. When we say trust, we are talking about the trust in the relationship between you and your inner being. This relationship must always come first. This is the only relationship that you will ever have that will never, ever, ever let you down, never steer you wrong, and never disappoint you. We understand that human bonds can be very special, and even the deepest of bonds in human relationships can at some point be disappointing. It can't help but be that way because every human is simply that, human. No human being has the ability to see from another person's perspective. They only have one point of view, their own. They can never truly understand another human's journey because they are simply not them. Not even the deepest of bonds, parent-child, sibling, spouse, life partner, or friends. No one knows or cares about you the way your inner being does. So let's start by letting everyone else off the hook. They are not you, and that's just perfect. When we speak of trust, we are speaking of a deeper, more intimate, and an all-knowing type of relationship. This is a relationship like nothing you've ever experienced with a human. Your inner being sees all, knows all, and is working behind the scenes on your behalf. There's nothing you could ever do to change or sever this relationship. You can wholeheartedly trust that everything that is happening at any given moment is happening for you. The goal in this step of awareness is to create such a strong, solid, trusting relationship that your first instinct is to know that everything is perfect for you, whether you understand it in that specific moment or not. You are human. Human things are going to happen. You came forth for the full experience, but when the human incidents begin to occur, if you can only wholeheartedly trust that it's all okay and you'll understand all of it very soon, you will begin to see everything in a new way. You could say you'll have a new sense of awareness. We understand that this will take time and it will take practice, but you are ready for this work. Build this relationship just as you would build any relationship. Build trust, communicate, and have fun with it. Again, this isn't a test. It's simply a reminder of who you truly are, which is pure love. The first step is the most vital of all the steps. Be easy with it, and every time you find yourself in an uncomfortable place, remember, we are always here, right here by your side. So, trust. And this is something I know we've talked about, in other calls, that I've been guided for the last year to create a seamless relationship with my inner being. And it's a relationship like you will never have. It's a relationship that I have never experienced before. And it's a work in progress always, because when we get ourselves in these situations where something comes up, our first instinct is to go back into that old story of, oh, that happened to me, or this is going on and I don't know how to control it, or whatever the situation is. Our instinct isn't to just trust that it's all working out perfectly. We just can't see it. But if we could build that trust with our inner being that is so solid that, let's say you get stuck in traffic or you get slowed down or you hit a red light, sometimes it's just like, oh, I'm late, but if you didn't feel that way, if you could seriously just know that you are being guided in every moment and it's just perfect. If you could really feel that way, that is what they're talking about. It's that type of trust, like wholeheartedly knowing. And again, we are humans and that's not our instinct. But if we could really work on that, things would change and they would change so fast. It would be so peaceful. If you can imagine like somebody just kind of carrying you throughout the day and you're just kind of floating along and you're just enjoying the good stuff, and the bad stuff, you'll know why it's happening. And it's not necessarily bad stuff. It just, in the moment, it just isn't what you were expecting. But if you know the outcome is going to be perfect, it's just not going to get there the way you expect it to get there, everything would be fine. So I think we just all need to work on that. So when I said all of these are take them or leave them, this is the one you have to start with no matter what. We all have to work on this one, or none of the other ones will work. They all kind of dovetail together. So step number 1, trust. Step number 2, be aware of your senses. Let's discuss your human senses. Humans understand what it feels like to have their senses limited and heightened. It is very common to lose one sense when you have a cold and only to have another one of your senses heightened. Everything around you is energy. Everything around you emits a vibration, and each one of your senses has a unique ability to detect the vibration. You could say that each sense is simply reading the energy. Every time you take a bite of something sour or sweet, you are reading the vibration of that food. Every time you smell a beautiful flower or a stinky skunk, you are reading the vibration of the air that is surrounding it. Your vision is the same as well. The beautiful colors are picking up the vibrations around you. The things you see are all energy. Everything is vibrating, and that is what you are detecting with your eyes. Humans understand the concept of the auditory senses a bit better. Any noise that your ear detects is a vibration, whether it's a beautiful melody or a screeching siren. It is a vibration, and the ear is designed to detect it. Your sense of touch is the most powerful because you are always aware of it. Your body is always touching something. Your clothing, your furniture that's supporting you right now, your body is always in contact with something, even if it's simply the surface you're standing on. And yes, every item that touches your body is energy. We talk about these 5 senses only to bring more awareness to your remarkable intuitive human mechanism. When you begin to ponder the human body and all that it does to ensure that you have all the data necessary throughout your day, you see that everything is vital in every moment of your human experience. It's so easy to see that many live on autopilot most of the time. Until their senses are limited in some way, you feel a cold coming on and your head gets stuffy and your sense of hearing is muffled. Your nose is stuffy and you can no longer smell, which in turn limits your ability to taste as well. In those moments, when you appreciate this, it's in those moments when you appreciate the simple beauty of your bodily functions. This awareness brings the potential to expand your ability. If the human body is constantly detecting any potential pitfalls, it is also showing you the beauty that surrounds you. Imagine if you decided to make a conscious decision to tune in and feel for more of everything you see, everything you taste, everything you smell, and everything you hear and touch. The next time you're about to eat, slow down and come into alignment first. Really concentrate on the vibration of the food. Make a choice to be more aware of the taste of everything. Is it sweet? Is it sour? Is it bland? Is it spicy? Enjoy every bite. What about your sense of smell? When was the last time you really stopped to appreciate the incredible mechanism that is your nose? Your olfactory senses not only keep you safe when something is going wrong, but it can also bring it can also bring beautiful sense. It also brings beautiful scents to heighten your experience. The aroma of cookies in the oven, Christmas trees, flowers, fresh cut grass, your favorite perfume. As you imagine these things, you can smell them. Appreciate that. The vibration of sound has the same effect, appreciating all that you hear. It can be a sound that can sense danger, or it can be as lovely as a baby cooing or bird chirping. Notice it all and pay attention. It is all for you. Your sense of sight can possibly be the one that is likely most taken for granted. The sense of sight is so remarkable. Your ability to focus and sense colors and movement should not be taken lightly. The beauty of a sunset or a rainbow or your loved one's face. Appreciate all of it and be aware of the beauty that surrounds you. Your sense of touch is undeniable. You can sense a hot stove and you can enjoy the comfort of a hug. Again, slow down and appreciate the ability you have to detect and read the vibrational energy that surrounds you. The more you truly understand your human powers, the more heightened your awareness will become. So, I really enjoyed this one, and I felt like this was going to be one that I really need to work on. I really just need to slow down and just take it all in. And we all can do that. When you really stop and just listen, like get out in nature and just listen to the birds chirp, listen to the wind blow through the leaves. It's amazing. And we just take it for granted. Slow down and when you're eating. I just gobble my food. I used to work years ago. I used to work 10-hour days and I probably had maybe a 15 or 20-minute lunch. And in the meantime, we didn't like get a total break. We had to go still help customers as we were eating. And I picked up the worst habit of just inhaling my food. And because if you didn't eat right then, you didn't eat. And um, it was kind of weird, but I've never been able to just, unless I make that really conscious decision, I eat so fast. And, not only is it better for you to slow down, but it's just appreciating everything. So slow down and focus on everything. And I was reading about when your vision, when you're talking about your eyesight, if you can kind of soften your gaze at whatever you're looking at, it kind of changes the shape. Sometimes you can see auras. Sometimes you can just see a different vibration when you just kind of soften your gaze. So that's something that I've been working on too, which is really, really fun. But just appreciate the magic that is your body and your senses. And the more you're aware of all of these little things, the better it's all going to be, because you're going to start to really attract and detect all of the beautiful things that are always around you. So that is step 2, be aware of your senses. All right. Step 3 is deliberate focus and intention. We are happy to talk to you about the next step. Deliberate focus and attention will always heighten your awareness. Now that you understand the ability each of your senses have to help you focus on all of that is now the most important. Sorry, that was a weird sentence. Now that you understand the ability each of your senses have to help you focus on all that is, now it's important to deliberately use them to their true capacity. We will pause here to remind you that humans have not even scratched the surface when it comes to the awareness of all that is. Your senses are powerful, and many of you have been able to stretch and grow beyond what most humans would consider their basic perception. But that takes deliberate focus if you want to strengthen your awareness and begin to perceive what is beyond the 5 basic senses. You must do it intentionally. You must begin to live in the now moment and become one with your inner being. You must make a conscious choice to see things from our perspective. As you begin to live your life with focus, you'll begin to see a deeper field of energy. Your ability to perceive the beauty of all that is will become your way of life. You'll begin to avoid things in your that in your past may have been a nuisance, and the little things that once hindered you will no longer be there. You will find solutions to problems before the problems arise. Life will become easy and peaceful and joyous. How does this happen? It takes deliberate focus. When you understand that this type of life is not only available to you, but it is also your birthright, you can begin to trust in your own ability to focus it into reality. What does it mean to focus deliberately and intentionally? It means to stop living on autopilot. It is so easy, too easy, in fact, to live day by day experiencing the exact same thing. It's comfortable, it's predictable, it's quote unquote, your normal. That's autopilot, and that will continue to dim your awareness. In order to sharpen your awareness, you must concentrate on the now moment. You must be aware every time you're changing directions throughout your day. If you're getting into your car, do it with intention. Get into alignment first and say thank you for the fun, easy, peaceful ride I'm about to experience. As you step into a meeting or take a phone call, do the same thing. Deliberately come into alignment and say thank you for the incredible communication that I'm about to experience. You can do this with every part of your day. Deliberately create the future moments of your day simply by staying in the present moment. All of this takes practice. We understand, and that it's easy to get distracted and sidetracked. And that's why humans ask, how can I sharpen my awareness? You must always stay present if you want to become more aware of all that is. Eventually, if you continue to practice this, it will become a habit. Your keen sense of awareness will become second nature to you. You will create a relationship between you and your inner being that is so strong, your sense of awareness will now become your new superpower. I love this because it is so easy to forget in the moment what you're doing. It's so easy to just get wrapped up in your day and just seriously go on autopilot. But when you really take pieces of your day and intentionally move through your day and be aware of it and say, okay, like right now, I'm going to finish this call. I'm going to go, I'm going to do the dishes. I'm going to do this. And I do it with intention. I do it with focus, and I'm aware of it. And I'm preparing myself for, a good time, because you have to have fun no matter what you're doing. Even if it's doing the dishes, you still have to enjoy it. You have to be present to it. Enjoy the water, enjoy the scents, enjoy the clean dishes. Know tomorrow that I don't have to wake up and do those, and they're going to be there and they're going to be clean. Those types of things. You just have to change your mindset. But the main thing is you've got to live in the now moment. It's so important to live now. Don't worry about what's going to happen later. Don't worry about what's happened before. Just stay present. And there's going to be so much more awareness of everything. And things are just going to be so much easier because you're going to be prepared and you're going to have pre-paved the way and know that it's all going to work out perfectly. So when you kind of dovetail that with the trust of your inner being that we talked about first, and just knowing that everything's working out, but you're staying present to make sure it all works out, it all works together. So it's kind of a perfect system. So that is step 3. Step 4, take a step here. Silence and solitude is step 4. Okay. Another step that is so important is silence. Silence and solitude, to be exact. The human experience can be so busy. Some humans are just busy for the sake of being busy. When you are busy, you don't really feel. When you're busy, you don't really have to feel very much if you choose not to. Keeping busy to cause distraction in order to avoid the awareness of a current situation is very common on your planet these days. But it does not have to be that way. You can learn to be so in tune with your own self that there will be no need for any distractions. If you want a heightened sense of awareness, you must prioritize yourself. You must take time for yourself to enjoy the silence. Allow yourself to think and feel and decompress. Many humans on your planet would rather feel stressed or sadness or negative emotion rather than feel nothing. We understand that the feeling of nothing can be frightening, but we assure you, once you get used to it, you'll realize this is the true starting line to awareness. When you're able to sit in silence and quiet your mind, you'll be able to allow your vibration to rise and you'll come into the truth of who you truly are, which is pure love and light. Silence can be scary to those who have never experienced it. When you can achieve the quieting of your thoughts, when you're able to release the chatter in your mind, don't try to block the chatter because that will only feel defeating and frustrating, but you've just released the chatter. Simply sit in a quiet place, close your eyes, and breathe. Take deep rhythmic breaths, and every time a thought comes, release it and focus back on your breath. Feel your body start to sink into the surface that is supporting you. Let your body feel heavy or light, whatever feels best for you. Let your body experience a detached floating sensation. Just let go and enjoy the calming effect your breath creates. This may take practice, but if you make this part of your daily routine, especially first thing in the morning, you'll raise your vibration and your daily experience will improve. Another sharpening tool is solitude. In order to create a true relationship with your inner being, you must get acquainted. In order to do that, you must spend time alone in silence. Find time to be alone in silence for about 15 minutes a day outside of meditation. Find a space that's just for you. Turn off the television, turn off your phone, turn off the music, and be alone with your thoughts. Just be. Maybe it's driving in your car, maybe it's getting ready in the morning, maybe it's your nighttime routine, maybe it's when you're doing a few chores. It doesn't matter as long as you're alone in silence. We understand this can be difficult for some. Many of you are not used to being alone with no distractions, but this is where the real sense of awareness will blossom. Be aware of you, your thoughts, your feelings, your intentions. You must learn to love and appreciate yourself. You must build a relationship with yourself, and you must do that by being alone. The more time you can spend alone in silence, the more awareness you will discover. You will discover self awareness, self love, and you'll learn to appreciate the beauty that is you. So, this is such an important step. And this used to be really hard for me. I always like to have background noise on, and I spend the day alone. I work from home, so I'm alone most of the day, but I have my dog and I normally have music on. I love music in the background. But when you really turn everything off and not sit with a book, not sit with your phone, you just sit. It's really a different experience. But now I love it. I long for that. And I love being alone. I love being in my thoughts. And, well, especially now because I can channel. But again, if I wasn't quiet, I couldn't channel. I couldn't do the automatic writing. You've got to have that just pure solitude. So I think this is a really big one. I think it's going to be difficult for a lot of people. And again, I think finding the time, I think people can use so many excuses to not find 15 minutes for themselves. But when you put that kind of time in and you dedicate that to yourself, you're going to have so much more to give to everybody else. It's just a natural how that happens. It's just natural. But understand the difference between the solitude and the meditation. The meditation is just as important, but it's different. The meditation is going to raise your vibration and just put you in a great place before you start your day. The silence and the solitude is more of like listening to your thoughts and just being and thinking and creating in your mind and maybe daydreaming. That's being in solitude. So getting to know yourself, getting to know what you enjoy, what you want, what your dreams are. Start dreaming again in those moments and really get to know yourself and like yourself. I heard it a long time ago. It was probably on Oprah or something, that people didn't know how to just be alone, and they didn't know if they would be friends with themselves. That's kind of where they were going with that. Like, would you be your own friend if you didn't know you? Would you like you? And a lot of people couldn't even answer the question because they didn't really even know themselves. They didn't really know their personality. And that's part of this too, is just really getting to know yourself and trust your higher self and building that relationship. But make this a priority. I've also been asked, is working out part of solitude? And I would say if that's the best you can do, don't have the music on, if you're just lifting weights, that's fine. If you're riding a bike, that's fine, but do it in silence. For me, when I run, if I don't have music playing, if I'm just running in silence, I can get into a meditative state with my breathing and my rhythmic breathing. Like I can just run and I don't even know how long I've been running and I'm not tired. I just let my inner being kind of take over. But that's taken a lot of practice. That's years of practice to get there. And I didn't even know that that's what I was doing. I just loved to run, but I didn't know why. So I would say those moments, yes. But if you're working out to music, if you're working out, you're following instruction, that's not solitude. No. So, okay. Last step. This is a big one. This is a fun one. Okay. Use your navigation. That's what this one is. Okay. We are happy to speak to you about your own private navigation system. This is probably the simplest device at your disposal. It is also the one that is most overlooked. If we were to tell you that there was a way for you to, no, what if we were to tell you there was a way that you could undoubtedly detect when you're going in the wrong direction? Before there was GPS or maps or even compasses, there was an internal system that's designed not only to protect you from danger, but also to tell you when you're in alignment with your inner being. And you know by now that awareness comes when you're in a state of alignment. Your built-in navigation is so simple. But most just simply dismiss it. Every minute of every day, you have the ability to check your gauges and see if you're headed in the right direction. This is simply something you and only you can determine for yourself. This tool is the easiest, most convenient, and most precise tool you'll ever use. It's something that is with you every minute of every day, and you can check it without anyone ever knowing. Better yet, you can check it and make the necessary adjustments in a matter of seconds, and no one will realize it. This technique will cause your sense of awareness to expand to a level that most will never understand. This technique we're speaking of sounds very mysterious, but it really is meant to just be a tiny reminder for you. You see, when you were never meant to forget any of this when you came forth into your physical body. When you were born, you were fully aware of this special navigation system. You are aware of it and you knew how to use it, and you used it well in your early days. Everyone did, and all the little ones still do. It worked precisely as it was supposed to until you were taught differently. The well-meaning adults taught you to ignore this device, just as they were taught to do. But now you are beginning to remember, as many of the others are on your planet. This is such an exciting time, and this is why you're here. You are ready to start using your very own built-in navigation system. Some of you are already aware of this, and some of you are hearing this for the first time. Either way, you're going to be so surprised when you realize that every bad day, every good day, every chuckle, every tear, and every smile was just as important as the woman's computerized voice on your GPS system in your automobile. The miraculous device we're speaking of are your emotions. Yes, your feelings. Every feeling you have and have ever had is a gauge. This is a scale that you can use to create a brand new awareness to help you navigate through your day and the rest of your life. There is no wrong or bad emotion. It's simply your inner being's way of letting you know if you're allowing well-being to flow to you or if you're obstructing it. There is no wrong answer. It's just information that you can use to navigate. When your oil light comes on, or your tire pressure gauge lights up, or even your water filter on your refrigerator, it's simply information that you can use to keep things running smoothly. When used consistently, this internal navigation system will bring you clarity and peace almost immediately. As soon as you determine where you are, you can easily adjust at any time. Just like the other steps, this too will take practice. Once you learn how to read your own personal gauge, you'll be able to proceed with clarity and confidence. Not only will you be able to maneuver through your daily routine, but you'll also have the ability to understand the others around you. Just another way to bring more awareness to your life experience. Okay, so a lot of you are aware of the emotional guidance scale. This was introduced to me in 2006 by Esther and Abraham. And I'm going to go over it with you real quick here. There are actually 22 steps or 22 stages in the scale, which the most dense, dark emotion is fear, grief, depression, despair, and powerlessness. So this is as low as it goes. And the highest one is joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, and appreciation. So many of us have never been to the deep, dark number 22 on the list. And when we are at one, joy, pure joy, it doesn't last for very long. That's just how it's supposed to be, and that's okay. But when you really learn to kind of place where you are, so like number 2 is passion, and then enthusiasm, positive expectation, optimism, hopefulness, contentment. Then we get into kind of the mediocre, which is boredom, pessimism, frustration, overwhelmed. Number 12 is disappointment, and then doubt, worry, blame, discouragement, anger, revenge. Now we're getting really heavy. Hatred, rage, jealousy, insecurity, guilt, and unworthiness. So when you kind of gauge it in that way, no matter where you are, it doesn't matter because you can work your way up the scale. Now, if you're sitting somewhere around doubt or worry, which is like 13, 14, it's not going to be easy to jump up to joy. You're not going to make that leap, but you can go from disappointment to hopefulness. I mean, you can just tell yourself a new story. That's easy. You can work your way up there. And when you're in those top 5, 6, 7, like down to contentment, it gives your inner being a way of signaling you and pulling you up higher. They can get in contact with you when you're in that heightened state. But when you're down deep, down low, it's up to you to build yourself up and talk yourself out of it and really work your way out of it. That's why when you see somebody kind of coming unhinged, as people say, people, out in public, if people are just kind of losing it, they could be going from fear, grief, depression, like bottom of the number 22, they could be going up to jealousy, rage, hatred, which is 20, 19, 18, anger, 17. You can kind of look at it like that, like anything is going to feel better than despair. And if it is using somebody, kind of if somebody wants to yell and scream, just look at it like that, like, okay, they're soothing themselves. Right now they're working their way up the emotional scale. If this makes them feel better in the moment, that's fine. I'm not going to engage. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to go on with my day because I trust my inner being isn't going to put me in a situation that doesn't have my best interest at heart. So I know that I'm safe wherever I am. I know everything is taken care of. I know everything is working out. So when you kind of plot that with this, it all works out. You can kind of see what other people are doing, how other people are feeling. But it's really about how you're feeling. And you can monitor this at any time of day. Now, they have said so many times in the past that it's so important that when you fall asleep at night, you put yourself in the highest vibration possible. And, so you get in that state of joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, appreciation. Fall asleep in that vibration, and you're going to wake up in that vibration. So if you get up in the middle of the night, you go get some water, go to the bathroom, make sure as you're falling asleep, you fall back asleep in that high vibration, and you'll wake up there in the morning. And when you do, that's when you go into meditation and you start all over again. You raise your vibration, try to hold it as long as you can. And when you start to dip, you have that trust, you've got your inner being with you at all time, and you can kind of monitor your feelings with this scale. And when you do that, it's easy to really kind of work yourself up the scale. And then you take the senses. And so next time you are in the high vibration, the joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, see where you are. What are you looking at? What are you doing? What are you feeling? What are you smelling? Are you eating? What are you tasting? Really dig into that and see what's happening around you. And when you end up in that lower vibration during the day, because you're going to dip, just go back to that thought, go back to that moment and imagine that taste, imagine that smell, imagine what you were looking at. Just put yourself back in that position and know if you've been in that happy place once, you can get there again. And even if you can't get there till tomorrow because you've done the work, you've done the meditation, and you worked your way up the scale again, it's okay because it's never going to be dark for long. Now that you know all of this stuff and you have all of these tools, you're always going to have that sense of awareness wherever you are, not only for yourself, but for everyone else. So anyway, those are the 5 steps. And like I said, if you want to see this emotional guidance scale, I can send it to you. Just email me and let me know, and I can send it. But those are the 5 steps: trust, awareness of your senses, deliberate focus and intention, silence and solitude, and using your navigation. So those were all given to me. And it's been really fun to figure all this out and work this out. And I could probably do an hour on each thing. You know, I was kind of thinking about doing a full workshop, but this is definitely enough for now. So anyway, next week we will be back for a channeled call. It will be the first Tuesday of February. Then after that will be an application call. And just so you know, the special for the sessions, the special price for the packages is going to expire, I believe, on February 15th. So I will go over that in the newsletter for February too. So you'll be receiving that newsletter. So anyway, thank you guys for being here. I will see you all next week. And I appreciate the support and I love you all. Bye.